What's up, Naomi? How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Probably not as busy as you. I feel like you feel like everything's just been one day.
Yes, very much so. I feel like I don't even know what the day of the week is. I'm constantly asking my front desk, like, hey, what's a day again? I know it's Tuesday, but what's like the actual day? And yeah, I couldn't tell you what's going on. I'm just proud of myself that I know it's February.
February. So what's been going on since I last time we spoke? I think you had just opened up, like it was a day or 2 days later, right?
Yeah, it was like I think it was almost a week later. So we've
Mhm.
been almost open now, like 2 weeks. Things are actually going like slowly kind of good. So the day after we last spoke, me and my front desk girl, we sort of like closed the office doors and we drove around just to go to a couple of like daycares, drop our like stuff off at like some pediatrician's office. We kind of like got to know the town a little bit more. Um, we booked some new patients. I'm trying to figure out like all of those sort of things, getting our systems in place, like refining stuff. So slowly getting there. Like each time we get a new patient, I feel like a breath of fresh air. I'm like, okay, like maybe I'll be okay.
Maybe everything will
Someone
work out.
believes in me.
So today, I know you said today you just started your new position.
I'm about to. So I've been without like a job since like mid-December, and it's been a little bit tough just trying to find like a position here in like New York. But luckily I found one at like a surgical center. So I get to do like OR cases like pretty much. But it took a while just to get that going, even though I had that job set up since like November because of the credentialing in New York is just like so insane. So yeah, finally getting that started. To he required me, which totally made sense just because of all like the softwares. We I had to learn like a bunch of like new things, and today was finally like my third like shadow day and all of that sort of stuff. So starting tomorrow by myself in an OR. So we'll see how that goes.
So how many days are you gonna work there?
2 days. So it's I'm currently in my own office Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays, and then I'll be doing this job Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Dude, so you're starting your own business and you're starting your own job? I mean, a job at the same time?
I know, just a little bit of chaos in my life. Everything brand new.
Do you, I, in a perfect world, when are you going to let go of the OR position?
Hmm. I mean, I would hope in like 6 months to 12 months, or at least like drop a day. My goal is like within 6 to 8 months to drop one of the days. Ideally like the Thursday one, just so I can like kind of have my office open more. But my personal goal is to get rid of an associate job in 1 year.
Okay.
But let's see if that's even feasible.
Because you're in the, you have, is this your only job, right? Besides the
Yeah, yeah,
startup? Okay. Okay. I don't know why I
yeah.
thought you were meaning like, do you have two associateships? I was like, what? No.
Oh gosh, no.
Just one, right? The OR.
Just
So
one,
then
just one.
could it have been, or could you have, let me ask you if this scenario could have happened. Could you have said like, maybe I'm not going to take anything on and just give it 1,010% on my startup?
I think yes, that would be like such an ideal, but I just personally don't have the funds. Like
Okay.
I've only been working like 3-ish years, and so it's a little bit hard, just especially living in New York with like the cost of living here. It's just like it's too outrageous. And like I think also with like the bank loans starting soon, student loans starting soon, I just don't think it's realistic for me to be able to dump everything into the practice. And I think like the other thing I'm realizing while I'm sitting around in my practice, like there's so much admin stuff to do. Like it's never like I'm just sitting there like twiddling my thumbs.
Mhm.
But I also don't know if right now with where we're at, if I gave in like all 5 days of the week into the practice, if like the return on that is really going to be fully there right now. Like I just don't
Gotcha.
see what I could do anymore that would be able to give me some more patience that I can't do on my other days.
Have you found yourself at all any days where you're just like, I think I can go home?
I mean, there's been days I've left like half an hour early. But no, there's not been really too much. I'm actually like way more productive like in the office, and also like we have a big pediatric therapy group right across the hallway. There's been people who like just come in right across, like are like, hey, like we're looking for a pediatric dentist. Just saw like I'm always here, like great to know you. So it's nice to get those patient interactions like early on. So yeah, I'm like trying to figure it out.
That's good. How's Beatrice feeling?
I think a lot better. Her confidence has like skyrocketed, I
Was
feel.
it not good?
No, it was never not good, but I
Oh,
think like she was just never in any sort of like office position where she could text, for example, a patient and have those interactions. So she's like kind of enjoying like, hey dad, what's up? Like over text message, because she's also an introvert. So it's like nice that she can like show her personality and like kind of like take her time. So I think she's like starting to get into the flow about like how to text them. She's doing her little smiley faces, like where she feels is appropriate. So it's just
yeah.
like nice to see her like blossom and like make herself like a part of the practice with like her own personality. It's kind of cute.
Is she one of those where you like text LOL and all these smiley faces and all these things and you're like, you're the best, you're so crazy, you're making me laugh. And then you just see them and you're like, hey, I
Yeah.
can realize.
No, surprise. She's so friendly. She's always just like giggling like a little bit, but she's quiet. So like she might like she'll be like friendly, but she's not like like mom, tell me how's your day? Oh my gosh, like blah blah blah. She'll be like, oh hi mom. Oh, it's so nice to meet you. Uh-huh. Cool. Like she's like that. So it's translating over text well, but I think she was like, am I supposed to be super formal over text? Am I not supposed to be super formal? And I think like part of the training has also been like part of my branding is like kind of having like a casual voice, like kind of making it more friendly and personable. I don't want people to feel like we're super like sterile, and there's a time and a place for it, but not like when you're just like booking an appointment or like, just talking to parents, like be chill.
Yeah. So what are your guidelines for that then when it comes to what's too much? Where have you had to tell her like you probably could have done that a little bit more professional?
I haven't really like had to tell her that per se, but I have had to be like, hey, like just in, so English was a language that she picked up later on. She's from the Philippines originally and came over here when she was 14. So while her English is like pretty darn good, sometimes like over text it doesn't translate like as well. So like just in terms of like certain like verbiage or sentence formation, I've had to like be like, hey, let's like actually kind of create like a script. And so she'll take my script and like readjust it into her own personality.
Gotcha. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you do. I like that. I like that fact where you're like, you want to be casual. You know what I mean? But like,
Mhm.
not too casual. Where you're like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I
Like
mean?
I'm
Like,
all about smiley faces. Like I think they just soften anything. Everyone's using emojis. For Pete's sakes, I'm a pediatric practice. Like
yeah.
it's fun to like be able to use it, but definitely not like with every single thing. It's not like you send a parent, hey, by the way, you're gonna owe $50. Smiley
I
face.
know. Kissy face, smiley face. Pay me now. Yeah, I get you. I get you. No, that's interesting. Okay, I like that. That the communications part is your own.
Improving. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's your own
She was
brand.
very nervous. That was like, I think she doesn't, I think she just has that fear of like, she doesn't want to mess up both for herself and for the practice. She knows that like, she's kind of like that first initial voice that some of these parents are going to have. She's also like, the town that I'm in is not, it doesn't appear the most diverse. It is like very, I guess white is the best way for me to
Mhm.
describe it if you really had to. And it's just not the same as like Queens, where she's like used to living. So she's just like nervous about like interacting and all that stuff. But now as parents have been like so sweet and so nice to us that now I think she's like, oh, okay. Like they're just nice people. Like I don't have to worry about this. I was worried about like, people making fun of my accent or something like that. So
She was worried about that.
yeah, she mentioned it to me.
Okay. What
Yeah.
is how is it like in Queens?
It's just so diverse. There's so many like first generation like immigrants, just like a lot more like local ethnic communities. Like you got the Filipino community, you got like an Indian community, you got like an African community. There's just so many like pockets that it's just not Connecticut, like where my
Mm.
particular office is, it's just like the typical white picket fence sort of vibes. And yeah. it's very different, but I'm just glad that she's feeling comfortable because people have just been like very kind to us so far. Like knock on some wood. I don't have oh wait, wood.
Knock, knock on. Do you uh, do you plan to live in Connecticut or no?
My goal eventually is like whenever I'm ready to like settle down and have that family, I see it more in like a Connecticut lifestyle, while New York is always going to be a big piece of my heart. I think if like kids are involved in the picture, I like the idea of a home versus like an apartment. It's just, I think you need space. I think a kid needs that.
Mhm.
Now, whether I live in the town I'm practicing in, that's to be determined. I
Yeah,
don't know if that's like for me, but it is the number one school district in Connecticut. So I would be silly not to consider it.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You know what? We never even talked about that, huh? That we one day, like, oh,
Yeah.
you do plan to have kids, and you do plan to, you know what I mean, and have a
Yeah.
house and stuff like that. Is that
Yeah.
soon?
Oh gosh, I don't think so. I think I'm still planning on being here for a little bit. Like, unless there's like a ring on my finger and a wedding being planned, I don't think there's any talk about moving to Connecticut
Yeah.
anytime
Okay.
soon.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. And then there's also that debate where you said like living in there because I feel like some people are like, yeah, I want them to see me as their like, the community dentist. And some people are like, man, I want to go to Target at 11 p.m. in my pajamas and I'd be like, Dr. Sedani, is that you? You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And so what are your
I think
thoughts?
the best part about being peds is like we're not formal, we're like really silly to begin with, and maybe there is like a casualness to it. I do think I want people to see me that way because frankly, that is like who I am. I just think initially, as I'm getting to know everyone, I'm kind of liking the separation, but I'm sure as like the practice builds out over the years, it'll be nice to like run into someone that I've known for 3 to 4 years now. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? We're both
Yeah.
here at 11 p.m. We can judge each other.
Both getting ice cream. How have you noticed I guess your personality kind of shift or change now that you're seeing like your own new patients?
I think in terms of like my personality and like energy, that part hasn't changed so much, but I do think and I think I'm still working on it, like kind of the aspects and points that I'm trying to bring up. Like I'm trying to still figure out my flow a little bit, like while I'm talking to patients in the back. Like with some of them, I'm going over diet like extensively. Other ones, I'm going over like brushing habits more extensively. And I don't think I'm like, well, it's not wrong by any means. I don't think I've figured out like that flow quite yet because I'm still figuring out this patient population. They're not like they're very much like not a very high cavities risk
Mm,
population um, due to diet per se. A lot of them that are getting these cavities, it's mostly due to like anatomical reasons, like their teeth are just like super crowded, so they're just more prone. So I'm still figuring it out to be honest, like a little bit.
okay.
Like yeah, like some of these people just have like such clean teeth compared to like the Medicaid population I'm like in the OR with and all that stuff that like to be telling them to brush a little bit better almost seems like kind of silly when I have like the two comparisons. But yeah, it's something I'm trying to figure out, like what I want to educate on a little bit more.
Okay. Interesting. And we'll jump into that. We'll jump into that in a further or later episode about like your first day, right? Or your first week and so forth.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
in this episode, let's talk about the marketing and branding. And insurances is part of the marketing. So I
hmm,
kind of want to start off with that. And I know
yeah,
you did say you enrolled with a couple insurances, right?
yeah, I did.
Which
I
ones?
used to unlock the PPO and basically I did Delta Dental Premier. And then I did Carrington, which is like the umbrella insurance. So I think underneath it, it has like Aetna, Cigna, some other ones. I got some random one called Sun Life just because they matched my UCR like very, very well. So I was like, all right, for that like 2% of the population that has it, might as well.
Hmm.
Um, and then I think that was pretty much it. Like I didn't do like all of them just because I didn't really want to be dealing with insurances. My future goal is to have like a fee for service style practice or an out of network style practice. And so far like I've been okay with like the insurances I have. I specifically chose Carrington because majority of after we did our demographic like research, majority of those insurances that they carry are heavily used in my neighborhood.
Okay, it's Carrington.
Yeah, Carrington. And definitely, like, I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned, not just like through Unlock the PPO, but like through this podcast as well as like on these Facebook groups, it's like people say do not do direct contracts with insurances. I think Delta Dental, you have no other option, but like everyone says use these third umbrella ones like Zealous and Carrington. So I listened to it and I'm definitely glad. Like it's going to be well worth the wait once I'm fully in network with all of them.
Okay, gotcha. In a perfect world, when do you see yourself going completely fee for service?
I mean, in a perfect world, wouldn't I would that would happen like within a couple of years, right?
Yeah,
But I think realistically, like 5 to 6. I think it just really depends on this patient population. But who knows?
yeah.
I think at the same time, with my limited insurances, I might be happy with the fees I'm getting and like the referrals I'm getting. And I might just take it from there. Also, like right now, I'm not even like considering it just because of like possible recession, people losing jobs. Tech space is big in my particular little area. And with all the changes going on there, I just don't really want to take
Dude,
away
did you
things.
hear that? Like all the layoffs and everything?
I know it's so insane.
I
And
was like,
there's another round about to happen too, I heard. So who knows
yeah,
what's going to
people are just
happen.
waking up in the morning and then they're like, you have been laid out, like on their email. What's up with that? Why? I don't even know why.
No, it's so crazy. My boyfriend actually works for Meta, and I just like remember when that first round was like happening, I think November-ish. Like, even though he's internal, there was whispers, there was like knowledge that this was going to be happening, but like he didn't even know until he opened up the work laptop whether or not it was like he had the ability to log in or not.
Wait, what does that mean? Working internal and
Like him being like part of the company. I mean, like I think there was so much media attention around like all these layoffs happening at Meta, but
oh,
like internally it wasn't like there was a letter that went around being like BTW, there's going to be layoffs happening on this day. It was they were hearing about it at the same time the media was like hearing about it. So there was all these like whispers and stuff about like what was going on just like internally within Meta.
yeah, that's scary.
I know,
Anyways,
like so
yeah,
scary. But,
no, no, I get
thank
you, I
God
get
we're
you.
in dentistry.
But I understand like even the fact that like I guess some people look at fee for service and they're like, man, that's nice. That'd be nice. But like, oh, I mean, if you can create the practice the way you want it and you have like one or two insurances with you, I would rather just do that and then to say like, yeah, I'm fee for service. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think like I'm also just trying to take a feel, for example, like I want to create an in-house membership plan. Maybe
Mm,
it'll be cheaper for some of these families too. Like I'm just trying to figure out the cost of all that and stuff, but we'll see. I
no.
think I just have to kind of see how the economy is doing and stuff before I can really make moves, but I created this practice and the foundations of it based off of my ideal. So that is to be out of network if I can.
Okay. And I know we talked about this, but why did you go with the colors for your brand? Right. I think you told us what the colors were, but you never
Yeah.
told us why.
So the background story, just in case like no one remembers. Like during 2020, I kind of created, well, no, I did create, not kind of, I created Denti, which is like oral care sustainable brand, just to sort of like test out like branding, marketing, and kind of the idea of sustainability within the oral care space. So when I went through that branding process with like the font typography, like scheme, mood boards, etc. I did have like a couple of like foundational colors that were there that were basics. So when Little Denti was created, I took a couple of those colors to make the foundation, which was like a cream, a chocolate brown, and then based off of that foundation, I was trying to find cool tone colors that I found like in Portugal that I really
Mm.
loved that worked with those like base colors. And that's sort of where the five primary colors like in my logo came from. So when you see it, it's like Sintra is like I don't know if you've seen that castle like in Portugal, but it's like yellows and there's pinks and like these reds and just like vibrancy, but not bright in your face and loud. It's very like cool toned, and that was like my goal with
Pastel
everything.
kind of.
Almost like pastel, yeah. So like
Okay.
when you come into my office, it's like the color is definitely there. It's very vibrant, but it's not like in your face like like a video game would be or something.
Yeah. No, it's unique. I saw a video 2 days ago or 3 days ago.
Mhm.
of your practice, but a lady, oh, I think it was Jean. She was
Mm.
like saying something, I don't know. I forgot
Oh,
what
I
she
didn't
said.
even know that.
And I saw you, and I was like, I've seen this. I've seen this place before, and it was your place. So
Oh,
she's
that's
like,
so funny.
yeah, she's like talking in your, because you went to your practice not that long ago, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
she
she's
came and
talking, yeah,
consulted.
she's talking in your
Yeah.
practice. And I was like, oh, I wonder if
Yeah.
the logos, yeah, and everything like that. But that's cool.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. With the therapy group, I didn't create it like obviously for anyone else. This was like just truly, I wanted a place that felt comfortable to me. And that for me personally is like neutral colors with a pop of color. I just find it too loud and chaotic for my own personal mindset, like when I just have colors like everywhere. Um, but with the therapy group, like right across the hallway, a lot of these kids also have like sensory issues and having too much chaos, like both with colors, lights, and all the, all the hoo-has of like all of that sort of stuff in a kid's practice, it can be a little bit too intense for them.
Hmm.
So a lot of these patients I've been walking through the door from there have been like commenting, like the parents just being like, oh my gosh, it feels really nice and comfortable. Like it's not loud, it's not chaotic or crazy. And that just like makes me happy that they're feeling the same energy that I tried to put into it.
Yeah, that's good. Especially
Yeah.
like how it just happened to be across you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Very
Totally.
cool. That's nice. Hey, so what's the logo?
So the logo is based, I actually worked on it with my best friend from college. I didn't really want to, I already, with the Denti itself, I'd already paid like a branding agency to kind of get me through the typography and like all of that like mood board stuff. So I didn't really want to spend the money because I understood what I wanted and had
Hmm.
gone through that process. But once I chose the colors, I was struggling with like, how do I incorporate Little Denti, make it fun, but also not something that's like seen by everyone. Like I was very adamant. I did not want a tooth in my logo. I just think it's cheesy. Personally, if you have it, sorry. It's just for me, it just
Yeah.
wasn't what I wanted. Um, and so she kind of took the colors. I had them on like a color palette, and so they were dots. And I kept talking to her about how I was designing this practice. Like there's no sharp edges, everything is rounded, blah, blah, blah. So she was like, why don't we just keep these circles? And she just started playing with it. And we took the I and Lil and we connected it towards the period that's at the end of Denti. And we created like little Dentis, like rainbow from that.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true. Do you have an apostrophe for Lil or no?
I do. Yes. Trying to see if I even have like a picture of the little Denti on my phone, but the apostrophe wasn't so much the issue. It was the period that just kept on like causing like all the problems for me. I couldn't figure out how to like make it look cute. And like figure out something that I liked. But what I also enjoyed about what we did was truthfully just the fact that here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't even
Yeah,
know
so
there was a period. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, so that was like on purpose. When you see like the original like brand stuff, like for example, like this, there's a period
Uh-huh.
at the end.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, we just kind of like played with like all of it. And it's been fun because since it was such a simple logo and it was dots, it's been fun to create like all of my assets like from there. Like everything is like um I can make like a little polka dot like theme. I created like our little tote bag based off of like the little dots into a smiley face. So polka dots accidentally became the shape of the
Uh-huh.
practice.
That's good though. I think that's like you know what I mean? Your brand.
It's totally, yeah, it's completely like my brand. Like this is like a goal for like one of the
Oh
tote
yeah,
bags
that one's
that we
good. I
want to
like that
create.
one.
Yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be fun. Just like now when I'm trying to create like a wooden logo and we're gonna just like have like the dots everywhere. I don't know. I'm having fun with it. I
Hmm.
didn't know I could do so much with dots.
Yeah, no, who was your branding agency?
Oh my gosh. I'll have to find it. They're based actually out in Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It yeah.
Okay.
How did I find? Oh, Um, I found them Amora, I think.
Amora?
I think so. Let me see. I found them actually because Coco Floss,
Yeah.
it's their branding agency. And so
Uh-huh.
I was just like, wow, this is like so fascinating. Like, how did they do like XYZ? And it was just through like random research that I discovered them. It was completely like accidental. Anagrama, Anagrama. But they're based out of Mexico City and honestly fantastic.
Oh, Mexico City. Okay, got you. Okay, cool, 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 cool. And then how much are you investing when it comes to marketing, external and internal?
Um, I think like when me and Jean were creating my performa, we put aside $28,000. Um, Now I haven't used all of it. A lot of it has come like the tote bags. I created like 500 of them just to kind of see how people liked it and was it well received as like a good um marketing tool. I think I spent 1,500 on that. My business cards were like 500. Referral pads have been like around 500. But then in terms of like digital marketing, I think I've spent probably only 1,000 so far, like on that. And truthfully, I haven't had to spend like a lot of it. I think 150 to 200 of that might be my own money. The rest of it has come from my boyfriend who works at Meta, and he gets a credit every month to test out like stuff. So I've been able to like kind of take my ads and like boost them, or my current Instagram posts and like boost it and stuff and just
Really?
see what's working. Yeah.
Did I ask how much is the credit or?
250.
Oh man, that's nice. Okay.
I
So
know. Yeah. So I kind of take some of these like posts that have been doing well, and I just kind of boost them out. And I'm testing like the audience. I'm also like gathering like the info. Are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from like Instagram? Like what audience is like working best? Like is that ROI? Now the only thing that now I need to like focus on a little bit more, and I think this was just something I didn't really like realize, is a lot of people create another phone number for their office
mhm.
that shows like where the like for example, I'm doing Instagram, I could be like, hey, like call X number. This X number is specifically meant for Facebook ads. And so when that number comes through and you're kind of like seeing where do you want to spend money on marketing, you're able to understand like, hey, this number of patients called because they called from this particular number, and it's only like $4 extra, I guess, like through like Mango or Casper and stuff like that. So I don't know how people are finding me quite yet until they fill out the form. Some people just say social media on there. So I don't know if it's Instagram, Facebook, Google, like
Mm.
whatever. So that's something I need to be better about tracking.
I was gonna ask you what audience is, or yeah, what audience is giving you the best ROI, Instagram or Facebook, but you don't know.
Well, I think it's Instagram, just from me talking in the back with some of these families.
What What are you doing on Instagram?
Um, I hired someone to run the social media on there.
Who'd you hire?
Her name, she just created her own agency. Let me see if I know how to say
It's
it.
Lil Dente Smiles.
Yeah, that's my Instagram. Dalmata Media is the name of her company. She runs it with like two other girls, but I knew her through Denti. I had used her initially just to kind of, once again, I was using that like entire experience just to learn about like how social media works, blah blah blah. And so I got in touch with her again. I told her I was thinking about opening up my own office, and we just been working together. We're still like testing out like how we want to introduce things like education, leadership, like all my pillars. But I think slowly but surely she's been kind of creating like a vibe on my
Yeah,
social media
yeah,
page.
I'm
Like
looking
you
at it
can
right now.
definitely like see it. Um, I like to think of it as 90s style. It's like clip art y.
You can see your logo. I mean, your colors, though. You know what I mean? With
Yeah,
this.
no, totally. So I gave her like my entire like branding thing. I just said, these are the colors, these are the exact hex codes. Like, I want to stick with just this. I don't want XYZ. I gave her definitely some like guidelines for sure, but she's been like doing pretty well so far. People have been like responding fairly well to it because I think it's just a little bit different for my area.
Okay, and so that's where you feel like you're getting a lot more, I guess, of your
Mhm.
patients compared to Facebook.
Yes. People are also interacting with me through my Instagram a lot more. So right now I'm currently working on like a giveaway, like as part of another
Mhm.
like marketing tool. We're doing like a 5-day local business giveaway. I personally have put in like a kid's Sonicare toothbrush, Cocoa Floss, and tumblers for the parents, but I've been like in contact with some of the local businesses just to like donate things. So one of my favorite coffee shops in Darien, it's called Neat Coffee. They were so kind and like donated their coffee bags are like 20 bucks each because they get them like locally roasted.
Mm.
So they gave 5 of those, one for each day, along with like one free drink for each day. There was like a kid's soccer thing, like up until like the age of like 8 or 12, that they're donating about like $50 worth of like gear or fun sort of stuff for the families. There's a toy store locally in the area that's going to be donating like $25. The local diner is donating, I think it's 25 or $50 gift card. So it's
Hmm.
fun. And like basically the rule is that we both post it on our pages like on the day of, and then they both people have to like follow us, they can tag 3 friends, like we have like our own like guidelines and stuff, and so hopefully it'll bring eyes to like both of our businesses. But I was trying to like reach out to businesses that we would have like I'm not looking for geriatric population. I want something
Yeah,
that's like
yeah.
family oriented and kid friendly, so just something that the parents would also enjoy but also that the kids would benefit from as well. So we'll
Uh,
see how much ROI I get from that.
that'd be good. How did you get them to donate? Like the coffee shop? What'd you
Um,
say?
Honestly, I just reached out to them. Like I mean, with Neat, it was personal. I was like, I literally go to you guys nearly every single day. I was like, I love your coffee. Like I'm local, woman-owned business. I would love to have you guys on board. Your clientele are pretty much the people I would be bringing in because they have a lot of like young families who come in. I'm trying to invest this much. It would mean a lot if you guys would just be supportive, and they just have been. And so,
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, and I kind of use that same tagline just to like talk to other people. I was like, for example, the soccer one, I use that same exact conversation. I was like, look, I don't know you guys personally, but I am a pediatric dentist. I'm opening up. I know a lot of like my kids love soccer. They keep mentioning it. I think it would be like a really great eyes. My patient population could get to know yours. And also like maybe I could also help you guys out with like mouth guards or all that stuff like in the future. Like, you know, trauma is huge in like your sport
Yeah.
like space. Why don't we like talk about it and figure out something? I think at the end of the day, it's also connections, right? Like
Hmm.
they might get only one family from our giveaway, but they only spent $50 to get like a brand new family that's going to last with them for a while.
Yeah. It's good. I think it's really,
Yeah.
really good. Okay, so you reach out to them through Instagram?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And so what do? You're just like searching in your community or
Yeah, so like part of it was just like with the build out and like just driving around. I was just like picking up on like where people have been going. And then also like I like pizza, for example. I'm sure a lot of young kids like pizza. That's probably whenever I ask them what their favorite food is, 99% of the time, it's hot dogs or pizza.
yeah.
So why not do like a pizza place, for example, and like what's one in the local town? Because the thing is that for me specifically, there's only one other pediatric dentist in my town. And I don't know her, so I can't like really speak to her, but I do know she doesn't have an online presence. Like I just haven't seen one, both on her social media as well as like her Google business profile. So that for me is my differentiator in the way that I can see how I can get to these local families' eyes. So why not communicate with the local businesses? They are going to be my bread and butter at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, that's smart. That's really, really good. I like that. And
Yeah.
then how would you say so you kind of alluded to it. You're not really tracking anything right now, right?
Mm-mm. That's something I definitely need to figure out like a system for. I've heard the phone number one. I'm just keeping an eye on like patients, like when they're calling, we're asking, or when they fill out the patient paperwork. So we're trying to start tracking it on Open Dental. So when we run the reports, we know where they're coming from, but I need to be a little bit tighter about that because I don't want to just be wasting dollars when I could be, putting it towards something that's actually doing something for me.
Yeah. And then are you gonna do any events or like a dental or like open house or anything like that?
I don't know. I'm like kind of struggling with it. People say it's like a good thing. I just don't know if it's really for me. like I find more value in like using the funds towards sponsoring like a kids soccer league, for example. Let them wear all the t-shirts, or let me be the one to donate all the water bottles, or
Mhm.
like just something like that, where there would be more eyes on it and it would be something that would be consistently in use versus like a chambers of commerce like ribbon cutting ceremony. I don't know, it's just maybe it's just the way I'm thinking, like I'm not paying attention to those things, so why would someone else? But I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I just don't know if it's where I want to really spend my dollars right now.
Yeah. You kind of have to see it like they're all a tool, right? So like the sponsoring an event or sponsoring a team is like a tool, right?
Hmm.
Do you know how to use that tool? How can you use that tool, right? The Chamber of Commerce, that's a tool for sure, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't know how to use it. Like, right, you just do a ribbon cutting and that's it. Then
Hmm.
what? Like you just join the breakfast networking lunches or whatever, and then that's it. So you have to approach it very differently when it comes to the Chamber of Commerce. So I don't know. Have you heard anything good about like sponsoring like a team?
I have, like, it seems to be pretty popular in like the pediatric space. I think it's, I don't know what the ROI is on the, like what people are doing, but I think for me, it there's an aspect of like free marketing that comes from it with like the t-shirts and like the names and like, oh my God, my kid had like an accident. Like, oh my gosh, like the dentist is the one sponsoring it. Let me call them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's just, I don't know. I just see it being more direct towards like my patient population, I guess, because I'm working with like the young leagues. But I don't know. I think it's one of those things that until I try it out, I'm not really gonna fully know. I guess what well, like to your point, like what do you think you could do with the chambers of commerce?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I can totally tell
Okay,
you haven't
fine. I
seen
need to
Unit
go back to it.
5
Of course, I
and
need to go back to it. I need to go back to it. This was clearly an indication I
this
need to read.
was clear. No, just kidding. No, with the Chamber of Commerce, there's so many different things besides the ribbon cutting, right? You can
Mhm.
participate in other people's ribbon cuttings. You can go to, and the name of the game when you go into these like networking lunches or right the events at night that you go to, like yeah, you get free food or whatever, right? Because you're part of the member or chamber. But like don't go with the intention of passing out your cards. Go with the intention of getting everybody else's information first. And
Mm.
then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to your place of business and be like, hey, what's up? Remember me? Yeah, great. Here, I wanted to give you guys some stuff for the families and things like that. What can we do for you? Right. And now you're more on a one-on-one basis. You've already broken the ice at the Chamber of Commerce event. And
Yeah.
so you can continue to utilize that. I would search through your whole members directory and be like, I'm going to go visit every single one of these and be like, hey, I'm part of the chamber too. I just want to say thank you so much for accepting me. And they're like, oh, yeah, I forgot we're a part of the chamber. Yeah, cool. Right. And then you just continue to utilize, right? To go in there and hand out
Yeah.
freebies or like, you know what I mean? Partner up with them and stuff like that. Like, that's a good way to break the ice. But
So
you don't
true.
have to be a part of the Chamber of Commerce to do that either. You can just go on the Chamber of Commerce website and look at all the members directory and be like, I'm going to go to visit these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have
Yeah.
to join if you don't want to. The only reason you would join is if you did want a ribbon cutting
Yeah.
and you did want to go to like 7 a.m. breakfast and just watch people talk about State Farm stuff like that. Then you could, but it's up to you.
No, I'd rather get to know a mom in like my local Pure Bar class and like
Yeah,
get word of mouth like through that sort of interaction than like sitting in there. So
yeah. So it's up to you. Like I never joined it, but I utilized it a lot.
I never
Um,
thought about it as like if I wasn't a member that I still had like access to some information. So maybe that's something I should like really be spending my time on looking at like over the next like couple of days and just seeing what I can get out of it. Because right now, I guess like on a somewhat similar note, what we did do is like we did look up, we tried to do some ground marketing. We did go to a couple of like the daycares. We called them ahead of time, which is like, hey, we're like a new pediatric office. We'd love to like drop by with some goodies for you guys, as well as like some stuff. Like, would you be okay? We dropped some things off. And we did the same for like a few pediatricians, like within a certain mileage of the practice. So I think on the day that me and Beatrice like ventured off, it was like 9-ish people we had on our list to go and like say hi to. And I think you and I briefly spoke about it, but I'm trying to use Beatrice as like the point of contact because they're truthfully that's who they would be interacting with the most.
Mhm.
So we went to Costco and when they had these like massive like red velvet cupcakes that were like awesome.
Oh yeah.
So we got those like for everyone. I have these like tote bags that I created, filled them up with like a couple of like more goodies, like some toothbrushes, like put my business cards like in there. And then we she dropped it off, like she spoke with them a little bit. And then we also did a sign up sheet that like, hey, do any of like the employees have kids? We'd love to like, drop off some stuff for you, any of the employees that have kids, if like you we'll give you a call back in like a week or so, just so we can find it out and we'd be happy to like, you know, support and give you guys some love. And so our goal is to try to get in contact with them again either this week or early next week, just to kind of see if anyone signed up.
Wait, did you ask when's a good day to come back and pick up the sign up sheet?
No, well, like we just asked, like, can we call you to pick up the sign up sheet? And they were like, yeah, well, just give us a call and we can find a time for you to pick it up.
Oh, okay. Next time,
Yeah.
if you can, like have Beatrice be like, yeah, when's a good day to? But remember, it has to be an incentive for the families, something that makes cheeks go in seats, right? Not so much like, yeah, you can just like get something else for free. It's more like, hey, I don't know, a percentage off of a procedure, or even if you want to do free exams or nothing for free, right? You can just be like an office tour or whatever. Or if you just need an emergency, boom, here, it's always here for you guys. We'll get you in ASAP, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, because they're VIP, right? Or something.
Yeah.
But Beatrice always wants to ask that, like, when's a good day to come back and pick up the sign up sheet? Even if there's nobody, I mean, even if you probably will be, but like, even if you get like one or two signups, you still want to go back there because that's like a second date, right? So you want to go back there and show your face, talk to them, be like, that builds way more rapport than just like, anybody sign up? No, okay, bye, click, and then you just
Yeah.
hang up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like that's just something we need to be doing like a lot more because I think like we need the presence on like the ground marketing a little bit more. Personally, in our town, on some of the neighboring ones, there's not tons of like events like happening like a lot that I think would be worth like participating in. But I think these moments, like what you just described, have so much value to them.
Hmm. I think
So
maybe if you want, I've heard good things to him, not good things about sponsoring a team. Just depends on how you use them.
yeah, yeah. I think it's like one of those things that I want to test it just to see, but I could also see it totally like not being worth my time or like funds, but I think I won't know until I try.
Yeah. If that was a scenario, like, because I think you have to do it like per seasons, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
You can't just
yeah.
sponsor like a day or a game.
Mm-mm.
So
One of
throughout the
the,
sea,
well, I guess like I'm also trying to think about a way that I could sponsor that's not involved with sports. And
hmm,
that's something I'm like trying to figure out like a little bit more. Sorry, not to interrupt you, but the
yeah,
one of the other things I've been like thinking about in communication with is, Pure Bar, or
hmm,
have you heard of it before?
hmm,
Like, so
hmm,
it is like a very, I'm gonna say young mom. Like basically they have kids that are probably like within my clientele. I was thinking about sponsoring like a mommy and kiddo class. I think like a lot of the parents that go there don't have like these moments to just like interact with their kid or do something that's not like a swimming class or stuff like that. So I thought it would be kind of cool just to be like, hey, whoever the first 20 to sign up, like, here you go, free class on us. Here's like a tote bag. Would love to like, I personally love movement. I am like a big Pilates person like myself. So I just think it
hmm.
would be kind of cool to like put myself into like what I decide to like sponsor a little bit more and be like, hey, if you like come, here's like some toothbrushes and also like kind of what you just said, make them feel like a VIP. You're gonna get like a free blah 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 if you like come here, or like you'll be on our ASAP list, or like I don't know. I have to figure it out, but something like that.
If they come to the class or they come to your practice.
Come to the practice.
Oh,
But I
so the
think
first
like
20 people.
well, like first it would be like through Pure Bar. They would be the ones advertising it, and I would be sponsoring the class.
Uh,
So say I pay, I don't know, like $500 for like a Sunday 11
yeah,
o'clock class. Them and their moms, they have like kid centric, they already offer kids classes. So it's not that hard to like translate over, but then all the parents and kiddos will get like some gear and all that stuff just to like bring awareness to the office name a
yeah.
little bit more.
Dude, I would do that, man. I would totally do that. And then like literally when class is about to end, you have your little like just a small little you're there. You're there. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
then they'll be like, yeah, we're the ones who sponsored it. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? If any of you guys need, we're doing this Pure Bar, her name, and I decided this month only to give all of you boom, something, right? And then, but remember, it has to be something where they come in the office, not just
Yeah.
like here's the toe bags kind of thing. I mean, you could
Yeah.
still give out free toe bags, but that's on you, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but
But
something
like,
where they can.
yeah, I was gonna say, what would you say for something like that? Like for parents that you're sponsoring versus like employees like at the daycare?
What would I give them as an incentive?
Hmm.
Oh, that depends on you. Like what would honestly free is the strongest word in marketing. So like I would be like, hey, something free, or I wouldn't even do anything free at all. I would just say, hey, look, kind of talk about your brand, who you are a little bit. You're coming in and be like, and we decided to partner up just to give everyone here some really, really great care. At the same time, if you guys want to be available or if you are open to coming on in, checking it out, definitely come and check it out. And then kind of like already start talking to people. You know what I mean? That's when you can literally open the door and say, what questions do you have? And then, you know what I mean? People will start asking questions like, do you take my insurance? Or
Yeah.
what if little Timmy's hurting, and we've already do you have a second opinion? I would do that. Free second opinions too, if you want.
Yeah.
Um, Something like that. Because if you open the door for a question and answering, I mean, you're going to get a lot more, you know what I mean? Deeper
Yeah.
stuff. But I would be there if I were you, or Beatrice has to be there.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think this is something I personally would probably go just so I can interact with like the moms on a personal level. Maybe I'll just say like you get a free consultation. We can talk about diet and like brushing habits or like any questions you might have, aka like an exam for me. They don't know about that.
AKA exam, yeah. For me, yeah. Yeah, you can do it. I love that actually. If I were you, I would totally like blanket over the free exam. Like how Invisalign people do like, hey, your first get a free consultation for Invisalign, right?
Hmm.
But we noticed when we A/B tested it, if we just say your first Invisalign session is free, people are like, oh, they're already primed, they're ready, they want to do that. Instead of like, oh, let me go get a consultation, or people don't even get a consultation because they're like, what's so free about that? Everybody else gives it for free, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Is
The
that
first,
worded?
yeah,
Yeah.
the first session, they don't know that it is still a consultation, but it's
Yeah.
free, kind of thing. It's just the wording. So
Absolutely.
a lot of brainstorming, but
Yeah.
awesome. Okay. So
So to me,
you,
that's more fun than like sponsoring a sports team, but I'm currently talking to them. So I'll let you know when and if it gets finalized for sure. And if there's any success from it.
dude, it will get next time we talk, we're gonna hear like, yeah, we decided to finalize it. And how many Pure Bars do you have in your location?
We have one and it's literally down the road.
Oh yeah. And I
Yeah.
would,
So they're like right down the street, which is like so exciting.
yeah, if you could like tomorrow or whenever you can, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to try to get it like ASAP. Right now, the kids are all away on like winter break in my area, so I'm just trying to use this time to like talk to as many people. So when they come back and like revving, we have I think 6 or 7 weeks before spring break, and I just want to try to like maximize that time
Yeah.
for
Okay.
exposure.
Awesome. So what's
Yeah.
next?
Um, Currently I'm trying to figure out like more ground marketing events. Like kind of what I was just saying. My goal for the next like until the end of March is just like massive awareness to the community with the Little Dente name being like exposed to people as frequently as possible. Um, and then I think also, I mean, my job literally starting tomorrow.
You're like, hey, my job.
Forgot about that.
I know. But you're excited, huh?
Yeah, I am excited. I think I'm just ready. Like I'm very, 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 very grateful. I actually have had this time off since like but mid-December to focus on the office. I think if I didn't have that time, I don't know if I would be where I'm at right now. I feel like very calm and very happy with like everything. So I think if I had the job, I would just be like a chaotic mess because I wouldn't have the time to be able to put into these things.
Yeah. Kind of gives
But
you more time to like breathe a little bit too, you know?
yeah, yeah, definitely. But I am very excited. I am like me and Beatrice have like time on like Friday, and I said that we have two things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing like run throughs of like how I want her to be as an assistant, like kind of like let's figure out our flow, but then also like real ideas as well as like ground marketing ideas. So hopefully I'll have like better tips and tricks for you guys once I like talk to her and like some other people and more finalized. But I really want I really want to know what others are doing, truthfully. Like I know every area is different, but I don't know. This is such a cool avenue to be like really, really creative on. And
Mhm.
just like even reading posts about this, like on the Facebook groups or like hearing other people on podcasts, like I know other people out there probably have some like awesome ideas. So I kind of really would love to get some DMs about that if possible.
Yeah. I hear, what's a good podcast to listen to too? You know who Casey Getz is?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely fantastic. It's like so nice to like kind of get that like realistic view on like how some of this all works.
Yeah, yeah, because he has a pretty really I mean, he's a good buddy of ours, and he has like a really successful pediatric practice. But I like the way he runs it. You know what I mean? Like as far as when it comes to like he goes hunting for seasons. You know what I mean? And he's off, and then he's like, I'm gonna work again. And then I mean, he knows what he wants, but his marketing is different. You know?
Yeah, yeah, it's quirky. And I think at the end of the day, that's all it is. You just have to be a little bit different and like willing to take that risk. Um, and I think it's like it pays itself off, like for sure. It's easy to be like everyone else, but like it's kind of fun right now just to like be trying to think of these ideas. Like I don't think Pure Bar has ever had like a dental practice asked to sponsor,
Yeah,
right?
100%. Like I would do that. Let me ask you, like, what's your favorite? Where you're like, if a bartender's like, what drink do you want? Favorite drink?
Mm, dirty gin martini.
Okay, break those down into ingredients and be like, here's for the parents, here's for the parents. I don't
Yeah.
know, you know what I mean? Like things like that. Like people know you like, oh, she's the dirty gin martini girl. Like that's the, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Like, because I remember there was there's another pediatric practice in our course. He comes to office hours. He does bourbon, and
Oh
then
my gosh, yeah. Bourbon
yeah,
and baby teeth, I think is what it's called.
no,
Yeah.
that's an actual event. That's
Oh,
an event. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not a
no.
practice. But he does. Yeah, there's people who do that. They do bourbon. There's other people who like do wine. And I'm like, how cool would it be for someone out there to be like, look, I just want to give you stuff. If you never had a dirty gin martini, cool. If you don't like it, you can give it to someone else. But if you like it, you're welcome. Like this is, just mix the ingredients up. I got you. You know what I mean? Like a little small,
Yeah, just a little small thing. Like it
yeah,
like dirty gin martinis and spicy mezcal margaritas are like my favorite things ever. So if parents appreciate that, I know that they're already going to appreciate my office.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So like, if I were you, kind of have that like, oh man, even like if it's like, here's the adult tote bag, here's the one for the kid, right? Kind of thing. You're like, oh
So cute.
snap, I got I don't know, something where you make it your own. Like you said, it has to be
Yeah.
different, right?
Yeah. And I think the one thing I'm really trying to get out of my head is like not everything has to be kid related.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of this is like targeted towards parents. Like at the end of the day, I obviously want to be able to give them moments to have like with their kids, like with the Pure Bar. Like I think that would be cool and a great core memory that I'm glad that I got to help them out with. But like at the end of the day, the parents are the ones that are going to be my friends and the kids are like going to be my besties. But like I need the parents and I to get along at the end of the day. And if they see me as someone that they can have that dirty gin martini with, then I think I succeeded.
Yeah, yeah, I think that would be good. Because Casey, remember, since he goes hunting, he comes back and brings people like deer meat, like that he hunted, and his like the people he refers it. You know what I mean? His referrals, like the
Yeah.
physicians and all them, they love that stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, thank you for the deer meat and wine," and I'm like, "What the heck?" But it's him.
And
You know
that's
what I
what they're
mean?
known for. And that's what I mean. Like everyone does cupcakes, like everyone does like donuts, like everyone does this stuff. Like we should just be different. Like, I don't know. That alcohol was like the one thing I was like, should I or should I not? Just personally, I am someone who loves cocktails, like not just to drink and, get a little tipsy, but like truthfully, I really love like a very good cocktail. Um, I have been really toying around with the idea of it as well. So I'm glad that you said this because it's reinforcing my thought process of wanting to include that in some of
Yeah,
my tools.
dude. If I were you, if you're calling a place and being like, "Okay, cool, we can stop by," cool. Real quick, do you guys like cocktails or coffee? And then they're like, "Oh, I love." Oh no, we don't all drink cocktails here. Then coffee. Bring them something that you like from coffee, right, from that place.
Yeah.
And if they're like, "Oh my god, yeah, we love cocktails. We love getting cocktails every day after work or whatever," then I mean, not every day after work, but like on the weekend,
Hmm.
then you could be like, "Boom,
Yeah.
like I got you." And
Yeah.
they're excited to see you because they're like, "I think she might be bringing something. I don't know, guys. You know what I mean?" And then you know, I don't know, something to think about.
No, I absolutely love that. I think you're just like reinforcing exactly how I feel about like those like more personal interactions versus like doing something generic. Excuse me.
I was like,
Excuse me.
I was like, what is happening?
I'm dabbing.
She's, she's so, you're like, I'm so excited to have to dab. Like, scale it back on your personal stuff. Oh, that was funny. You're like, I'm dabbing. Okay. No, but yeah, I think you should. I think you should
All
do
right.
that.
Well, next week I'm definitely gonna have updates for you.
Yeah, yeah. Have that, and then let the people at Pure Bar. If I was you, I would just do it for the people at Pure Bar and see what they think, and
Oh,
then sponsor. You know what I mean?
oh, interesting. I should just say, like, how many of the Pure Bar employees like have kids? Like, let's do it for the employees, and we'll take it from there first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Or whoever you already went to. I don't know.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Alrighty, sign us out, Naomi.
All right. Well, first off, you can find me at Little Dente Smiles, and I really, really want to know who's like done other like ground marketing events. And I really want ground marketing because I really love the idea of like interacting with people and the kids. So if you've done things that haven't been like any sort of like the tents or festivals, like please DM me. That'll be awesome. And for the people that have DM me about organization, by the way, first off, thank you. There's been like 5 or 6 of you, and it means a lot because now my op room looks so much better. I'm very thankful. And then you can also personally find me on Dr. Naomi Sedani as well on Instagram. Otherwise, this is the making of Little Dente.